the man behind Sherlock Holmes. In the foggy streets of Victorian London, where gas lamps flickered and horse-drawn carriages clattered over cobblestones, a literary legend was born. His name was Sherlock Holmes, the world's greatest detective, a man of razor-sharp intellect and uncanny deductive reasoning. But behind this iconic character stood another brilliant mind. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, the Scottish author whose life was as fascinating as the mysteries he penned. A boy with a storyteller's heart. Arthur Ignatius Conan Doyle was born on May 22nd, 1859, in Edinburgh, Scotland, into a family with a flair for the dramatic. His father, Charles Altamont Doyle, was an artist whose struggles with alcoholism cast a shadow over the household, while his mother, Mary Foley, was a vivacious storyteller who filled young Arthur's imagination with tales of knights, chivalry, and adventure. It was from her that Arthur inherited his love for storytelling, a passion that would shape his destiny. As a boy, Arthur was sent to a Jesuit boarding school in England, where he found solace in books and sports. He was a natural athlete, excelling in cricket and boxing, but it was his knack for spinning tales that set him apart. His classmates often gathered around him, wide-eyed, as he wove stories of daring heroes and far-off lands. Little did they know, they were witnessing the early sparks of a literary genius. From medicine to mystery, Arthur's path to becoming a writer was anything but straightforward. At the urging of his family, he enrolled at the University of Edinburgh to study medicine. It was here that he met a man who would unknowingly inspire one of literature's most enduring characters, Dr. Joseph Bell, a professor renowned for his keen powers of observation and deduction. Dr. Bell could diagnose a patient's ailment and deduce their occupation, habits, and even their hometown simply by observing minute details, a skill that left young Arthur in awe. Years later, Bell's remarkable abilities would become the blueprint for Sherlock Holmes, the detective who could solve crimes by noticing the faint smudge of mud or the slightest variation in a person's gait. While studying medicine, Arthur began writing short stories to supplement his income. His first published work, The Mystery of Sasassa Valley, appeared in 1879, and though it was far from a masterpiece, it marked the beginning of his literary career. After earning his medical degree, Arthur set up a modest practice in Southsea, England. But the life of a country doctor proved dull, and he soon turned to writing to fill the hours between patients. The birth of Sherlock Holmes. In 1886, Arthur Conan Doyle sat down to write a detective story unlike any other. Inspired by Dr. Bell's deductive prowess and Edgar Allan Poe's detective tales, he created Sherlock Holmes, a brilliant but eccentric consulting detective, and his loyal friend and crime, Dr. John Watson. The result was A Study in Scarlet, published in 1887. The novel introduced readers to 21B, Baker Street, Holmes's iconic address, laid the groundwork for what would become one of the most famous partnerships in literature. Holmes was a man of contradictions, a genius with a penchant for violin music and cocaine, a loner who thrived on solving the most perplexing crimes. Watson, on the other hand, was the everyman, a war veteran whose steadfast loyalty and admiration for Holmes made him the perfect narrator. Though A Study in Scarlet received modest attention, it wasn't until the publication of The Sign of the Four in 1890 that Holmes began to capture the public's imagination. But it was the short stories, published in the Strand magazine, that catapulted Holmes